We have a special episode today. Today we are dedicating this episode to our families and friends in India. And we are being sponsored today by True Health Naturals and by the Akhil Autism Foundation that was started by Mahesh and Manisha Ladd over 10 years ago to help their son Akhil. Akhil's now 18 years old and he is recovering from autism, and his mom and dad have worked tirelessly to help thousands of families across the globe, helping them give hope, helping them with education, helping them with various resources. So thank you, Mahesh and Manisha, for your support, and thank you to the Akhil Autism Foundation for sponsoring today's event. Again, I just want to remind you that I am here to help you guys with education and not to give you any specific medical advice. Always get your medical advice from your medical practitioners. So that being said, I'm very excited today because today with our chai chat, and I hope all of you guys have your cup of tea today. Today's chai is chamomile, and I'm sharing this very special cup of chamomile tea. And remember, chamomile helps us with calming, it helps us with anxiety. It even has some antiviral qualities. So I just want to make sure that you guys all have your cup of tea and take a deep breath. And I want to introduce you to a very good friend of mine and a colleague. This is Dr. Deepak Gupta. I'm going to put him on now. Now, Dr. Gupta, he's going to be on in a second. I'm just going to introduce him to you guys. But Dr. Gupta, Deepak? Okay, Dr. Gupta is an integrative psychiatrist, a child psychiatrist, and he works in New Delhi in India, and he has a practice there and has been studying the biomedical approach for over 10 years. And I met him here in the US at MAPS, and MAPS is Medical Academy for Pediatric Special Needs. It's the kind of the foundational approach or the functional approach or biomedical approach for children and children with chronic medical issues. So yeah, Dr. Gupta is going to help me here today, and I'm going to ask him a few questions in a minute. What's going on here? Sorry, we're still working out details, but I wanted to, focus a little bit again on the immune system. All of us are having a similar experience with this lockdown and with dealing with prevention. We don't want to get sick. We don't want any of our family members to get sick. So again, I just wanted to take a step back, and I'll talk to Dr. Gupta in a second, but I just wanted to kind of remind you, I know I did a Facebook Live before on viruses, but for some of our friends, again, in India, I just wanted to review some of these ideas. So I think I figured out how to share my PowerPoint this time. So I'm going to share this PowerPoint with you guys and these simple tools for supporting the immune system. So just remember, with our kids on the spectrum, they have a lot of what we call underlying immune issues. It's not so specific as, oh, they have immunodeficiency like low IgG or low IgA. And it's not so specific that they all have allergies with high IgE. Some of our patients have what we call mast cell activation. They react to things. They react to a lot of things in the environment. And it's not always what we say IgE mediated. It's not always based on IgE and histamine, but it looks like that. Many of our kids have autoimmune issues. The classic example for our families would be some of our kids who have PANS or PANDAS, pediatric autoimmune neuropsychiatric disorder associated with strep. And then some of our kids have autoimmune issues and autoimmune brain antibodies. I can hear you guys. So, and then some of our kids have what we call microglial activation. The immune system in the brain, these microglia, they just turn on very rapidly. They activate to try to fight something. And then that activation gets turned on and it never gets turned off. And we call that chronic neuroinflammation. So again, there's a lot of reasons for our kids to have this kind of immune dysregulation. We also talk about what we call Th1, Th2 skewed immune systems, which means that in a way, their immune system isn't fighting what it should fight, like viruses and parasites, but it is fighting what it shouldn't fight, like foods or outside environment or themselves. So that's another term we use to describe some of the things that are going on with our patients' immune systems. And then a lot of them have what we call microbiome disruption. Initially, their microbiome didn't develop well, and now it's that microbiome helps to develop a normal immune system, a proper immune response. And so we're kind of having to backtrack to get that microbiome back in track. So again, I just wanted to review safety first, use your social distancing, but we call that physical distancing. Hand washing with soap, 20 seconds is the key. Really the key is to avoid rubbing the face. Even if you touch something, if you touch a metal object or if you touch an object, even if you touch it, you're not going to get the virus from touching things. You're going to get a virus from letting them inhale into your respiratory tract. So they get through your eyes, your nose, your face. That's when they get inside. You can't even eat them. Say you touch food and you eat it. That food will not contaminate your body. It's all through this respiratory tract. So just be careful. If you go out, wash your clothes. And then around here, a lot of people are hoarding things, so don't hoard. I just wanted to remind you because we've got a few questions, and some of our questions are related to what can I do? I really don't have access to supplements. I don't have access to a lot of things or tests. And what can I do to help my children and help my family? And again, just the basics. Get out there, get some sunlight, even if it's in your back porch. Get that vitamin D. Drink a lot of water. Keep that mucus thin. They're saying that if you're constantly drinking water, again, those viruses cannot adhere to that mucosal membrane. Get your fruits and veggies, get your ascorbic acid, your citric fruits, lemons, oranges, grapefruits, the flavonoids. Drink your tea, drink your chai. Really, that fennel is very nice. Clove, mint. These are all kind of antimicrobial, and they coat the throat and the nasal passages. So, they kind of prevent things from adhering. Mushroom teas are really nice too. And then I know you guys use a lot of spices in your cooking. Keep it up. It's awesome. Garlic is antiviral. Ginger is very good for the GI tract. We know a lot about how turmeric and curcumin is extremely helpful. Maybe even use other herbs that you're not used to using, like oregano and thyme. And keep those fermented foods up. They're really helpful. I need a time. So again, if you do have some supportive nutrients to help you, vitamin C, lots of research on that. Some zinc too, and preventing viral adherence. Vitamin D helps our immune system. Vitamin A helps our immune system, and probiotics. And then there's some other possible preventive measures. I'm going to have Dr. Gupta talk to us a little bit about those that are available to you guys. I have a list here for you that is based on some of the research and some papers, and I've posted them on my Facebook page. I've posted some of the papers at True Health Medical's website. But again, some of my favorites: melatonin, the licorice, artemisia is very nice, homeopathic xylococcinum if you do have the flu, and I really like the essential oils like thieves and lemongrass. So I'm going to open it up to Dr. Gupta here. And Dr. Gupta, thank you for joining us. I'm going to so give me a second. You'll be on in 1 second. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
Yes, a little bit, but yeah.
So nice to see you. How are you guys doing? How's your family?
Everybody's fine. We are trying to keep ourselves safe and isolated, and a lot of social distancing, and it's going well up till now.
Oh,
Let's
okay. Good.
the
Good.
lockdown is going on. So the 21 days lockdown, which will get finished on Tuesday, most probably the lockdown will get extended. So we are
Oh,
waiting for the further intimation and the notice by most probably by Sunday, Monday. Let's see what comes up.
okay. Okay. So that's kind of what's happening here in the United States. I'm
Absolutely.
in the Chicagoland area for those of you who don't know. But how's the
Mm.
sentiment? Like how are people, is there a lot of fear? Is there a lot of worry? I mean, I worry about India just because of the
Mm.
all the different types of people and the different educational statuses. So what's your general sense of what's happening?
See, mostly it's worries because everybody is living in some sort of a what will happen.
Mm,
It's something like like a fear psychosis sort of a thing. That what will happen when the lockdown will open, what will happen to economy, what will happen to children.
yeah.
Will once we start going out of the house from other things, will we catch the virus? Something may happen. What will happen? And suddenly they may increase the number because every day so much of this media explosion and people getting so much information from social media. So people have a lot of apprehension. People have apprehension. But yes, but a lot of people are taking care of themselves. As you said in the starting also, keep yourself safe. The people are doing it. That's what people are doing across the country. People are taking care of themselves.
Yeah, that's a great point because I think this is a time that we can really take a step back and
Mm,
really think about, okay, what can we do? We're spending time with our families,
mm,
we're home. What can we do to kind of enhance that environment from a social perspective, from like you
mm.
said, anxiety, stress handling, um,
Absolutely.
diet, nutrition, exercise. So that
Mm.
takes some of that fear away. I wanted you to talk to our viewers today because you're in a special you have a special perspective on this because being again in India, working closely with our families, what can some of the tools that you use that they can get locally to help them? And can you just share some of those tools that you think that can be helpful
One of
for
my
our families?
one of my favorite is Giloy and Tulsi. And it works like wonders. So adding Giloy to the diet, and their tablets available, their syrups are available easily in the local market. So I usually use Giloy and usually use this Tulsi, a combination of these two. So I do it on the alternate days, and that really really works out very very well.
Okay, so some
So
of
this is
our
something.
yeah, some of our American listeners are not familiar with Giloy. It's Giloy.
Mm.
And what kind of
Yeah, Giloy.
yeah, could you explain it
It's
a
a, it's
little
a it's a
bit?
herb. It's a herb.
Okay, and what does it
See,
do?
Giloy is an herb.
Okay.
See, it basically what happens, it increases the phagocytic properties of macrophages.
Oh,
And
excellent.
that's the good thing
Excellent.
about that. So it increases it enhances the macrophages properties of the phagocytosis. That's a good thing about the Giloy. Also, it has been found that it also improves the interferon gamma. That is
Oh,
something it works on. This is what is there. So it works on these immune molecules, and improving this interferon gamma. And also it has been found that it works on interleukin 1b. That is
oh,
what people could research. So glow is very effective. It comes with the name of septil in India, from Himalaya, and it works wonders. I've seen, especially for the respiratory at this point of time when people are struggling with the respiratory thing. So in that way, the glow is something very good. Working on the interleukin, working on the interferon, working on the macrophages, and it's a natural it's an herb. So it's an
excellent.
herb. Absolutely. So it's a very good thing to improve your immunity.
Okay. And what are some other ones that you like to use?
Then I use Tulsi, and we know Tulsi. Tulsi has a long, long, long history, and it has a broad spectrum: antimicrobial, antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal properties, anti-inflammatory. That's a good thing
Right,
about
right,
Tulsi.
right.
And also we know that along with Tulsi, in some of the cases, I use curcumin.
Okay.
So I tell the parents, to either increase the haldi in their dishes,
Right,
haldi, or either they can have the oral curcumin also. And we
right.
know curcumin is something which works on these pro-inflammatory cytokines.
Oh my gosh.
We know
Yeah.
that. So it's something very very good for this. So again, this is the combination usually I try. Some of the children I also use is colostrum.
Okay.
I use colostrum also, and we have this bovine colostrum available to us. So I usually use that bovine colostrum to available to us, people who are not sensitive and not allergic to it. And I see good response. So I use in multiple combinations of giloy, tulsi, curcumin, and your this colostrum, the bovine colostrum. And some of the kids I've also used this probiotic. It is called Lactobacillus fermentum.
Okay. And
We have
that's
we have
readily available there?
Yeah, it's available. It comes with the name of Remune AL. I've used in a lot of kids, especially with allergic predisposition, with viral predisposition, lactobacillus, fermentum. Again, it modulates what we this toll this toll like receptors
Right.
TL receptors TLR4 especially. It works in the TLR4. It modulates them. That's a good thing is that, and it comes with the sachets, So, and when you give this lactobacillus fermentum, it works on the intestinal interferon gamma. That's the good thing is that. And what is also we have seen with this probiotic that it stimulates the intestinal peritoneal macrophages and IgA.
Okay.
So in that way, gradually what is happening is so as we know, no one thing works in children. So it's so different combinations. So using this probiotic of lactobacillus fermentum, colostrum, tulsi, giloy, curcumin, and I also use a lot of another favorite is my neem, which I use in some of the kids.
Yeah,
Neem.
I love neem.
Yeah, but a little bit of bitterness of the taste, that always
Right.
comes in the and but yes, and that's either we can use in the raw from the leaves, or either we can have we have a syrup also available, and we also have the tablets available. So so in that way, different combinations. Usually, I try. Some of the kids have tried aloe vera also, aloe vera juice, which is again easily available.
Oh,
10
okay.
to
I didn't know that.
yeah, 10 to 20 ml or 30 ml. But if some of the parents want, they can grow aloe vera in their house, and then in the long bags they can cut that, and they remove the
And
middle part
squeeze it.
and they squeeze it and use in the juice. It's very very effective, but it can be sometimes cumbersome and look like gel like sort of a thing. But
Yeah.
aloe vera juice 10 to 20 ml a day, empty stomach, is absolutely very good for the immunity and the stomach.
Oh,
So these
excellent.
are some of the combinations which I have used in my practice. And besides whatever you said, vitamin A, C, and D.
Yeah, I remember when I was in India in December, sitting in your office, and we had a little bit of the smog going on, and I had a cough, and you gave me some chewables to try to help my throat, and
Yes, swallow.
they
It is
helped.
swallow.
And I looked at the
Absolutely.
ingredients, and you mentioned that they have moletti in them, and the
Yes,
moletti is our version of licorice. And
absolutely.
similar
You'll
to
be correct.
cough or fennel. And
Absolutely.
again, licorice has been shown to kind of coat the throat to prevent
Absolutely.
viruses and things from attaching
Absolutely.
in the upper respiratory. So
Yeah, so even parents can try the swallowing, and swallowing can be taken in different ways. Either you can take it and you can use it like the lozenges, or even you can put two tablets into the lukewarm water and then let it get dissolved and then
and
drink
drink
it.
it like a tea.
Absolutely, like a tea. This is
Swallowing.
my so this is my lemongrass and ginger tea.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Lemongrass. I love that. That's
I got it from Assam,
that's
directly sourced from the mountains. It contains lemongrass and ginger.
oh,
So again,
beautiful.
it's something
Well,
like
you
a
look
like.
very healthy. So we're going to open it up. Usually, after a few minutes of us chatting, I ask you guys to um, ask any questions that you might have. Uh, any questions that you guys have, please let us know. I know Manisha sent us a few questions regarding different things that might help some people. I think we were focusing on the immune system, but some other people asked questions about what can I use locally, and I think that we kind of went over some of those things. Like, definitely use your diet, use your spices, use your local kind of herbs, things like that. So, do any of you have any other questions that you'd like to ask? Somebody asked about homeopathy, the names of different homeopathics. I know that in India, homeopathy is quite popular. It's not that popular here in the US. Dr. Gupta, are there certain homeopathics that people have found kind of helpful for the flu or helpful for a cough or just
Yes,
helpful in general? Are
yeah,
there certain
we have very good homeopaths out here in country, and a lot of the kids who comes to me, they are under the care of homeopath across the country. And yes, what one thing which I've seen which helps them is their in the immunity and the respiratory infections. So if somebody knows a good homeopath, I think they can consult, because but I can't say which is a particular medicine which works. But yes, they can go to a lot of homeopath, and I say you should consult, and you can and take advice from them. Yes, and it makes a difference. So a lot of kids under my care are with homeopaths also, and under my care also. So
Yeah, excellent. I like a few homeopathic remedies. Some of my
mm,
favorites. I mentioned oxalococcinum
mm,
for a flu.
mm.
I think that if there's a lot of inflammation, just in general, I like Arnica
Absolutely.
montana. If there's a fever that causes like really red cheeks, dilated pupils, and again, instead of using something like paracetamol, or I think in India they call it Profen, here we call it ibuprofen,
Mm,
people can potentially use something like belladonna to
mm,
bring down a fever. I know there's some controversy in a lot of people are asking me, should I use ibuprofen? Should I use Profen? Because some people were recommending that people use paracetamol or acetaminophen or Tylenol instead. But we know in our patient population, I mean, I know you know a lot about methylation. Could you maybe explain to our viewers why paracetamol may not be the best choice for their population? I know the recommendation for not using ibuprofen is in people with like diabetes and hypertension, or who are extremely ill in the hospital. But what about the use of Tylenol or acetaminophen in our patient population?
Usually here also in India we have different combinations available. So usually I recommend them ibugesic, not the ibugesic plus, the plain ibugesic, which contains ibuprofen, and that's what we recommend them. And even for and that is very quite effective. It's available in syrup form and the tablet form available to us. And the good thing is, and why we and usually, and that's what we say, avoid paracetamol. It comes with the name of different names here, and one of the most common brand is Crocin. We should avoid paracetamol because we know that it works. It tends to enhance the oxidative stress. It tends to work on the glutathione, and it tends to work on that particular pathways. And then a lot of time we have seen that some of the children can become chaotic. There can be some certain issues. They can go into regression. So those things can happen. So usually paracetamol should be avoided because it enhances the oxidative stress and decreases the glutathione levels. So this is what we need to look into it. So that's why always whenever any children are there under my care, I always says avoid paracetamols as much as possible, because a lot of time people are not aware and doctors are not aware of it, and they tend to write the first thing is paracetamol, and
Right.
most of the homes contains paracetamol. So the first thing is that paracetamol tablet or paracetamol syrup, which is given to the children.
Yeah, and I think some people inadvertently overdose with paracetamol because they're
Mm,
taking the capsule. Then maybe it might be in their cough syrup, and it may
mm,
be in their sleeping medicine. So they end up getting too much, and it can cause the liver to get damaged, and it can inhibit glutathione for almost like 20 days. So the minute you
mm.
take a dose of that, you can't detox things for like almost a month. So
Absolutely.
that's really good information. So one person's asking, how do you spell Tulsi? It's spelled Tulsi. In the United States, we call it holy basil. And it's
Holy
the
basin.
same thing as Tulsi. And it's also very good for neuroinflammation. There's some studies to show that it helps with seizure activity as well. Gina's asking us, how do kids who are prone to high oxalates tolerate herbs and vitamin C? Do you want to answer that, or do you want me to?
Please, you go ahead.
Okay. So oxalates can be a big issue, especially in our children with a lot of GI issues. And some of our kids hold on to the oxalates and they don't release them. And the oxalates combine with calcium and get stuck in the body and cause inflammation. And they can also get stuck in the brain. So in those people, vitamin C can be converted to oxalates and make this worse. So we really don't want to overdo vitamin C in those oxalate prone individuals. So thank you for bringing that up, Gina. The other thing is certain herbs are high in oxalates. So you kind of have to look at kind of a list of things that are high in oxalates. And the number one thing that's high in oxalates is spinach.
Absolutely.
Another big one that a lot of our kids use is almonds. So again, for some patient population, we have to be careful. I know we're giving a general recommendation, but every person is unique, and that's why you need to talk to your doctor about these things and get their specific advice on things. So we have a question here from Sunny. What intervention works best for regression? So again, that's a tough one. Do you have some ideas on what that whole concept involves? Like why would our patients regress, and what can we do to help them in those cases?
See, again, it's a very big broad question is there. So we need to understand what is causing the regression. That's important thing is that, and what is the etiology between the regression? Whether it's because of the heavy metals, because is it because of heavy metals? Is it because of viral regression? Correct. That's what we need to see. And once we are able to know the etiology, and we also know is it that the mitochondrial dysfunction is also correlated and also is linked to it. So with viral etiology, heavy metal thing, mitochondrial dysfunction, we know that definitely the child has gone into a signs and symptom, which is called autism or the autism spectrum disorder. That's one thing. That sometimes it could be even the epileptic phenomena. Sometimes some of the children, absolutely what we see in Lando-Kleffner syndrome, Lando-Kleffner syndrome, sometimes epileptic phenomena. Suddenly, the child have only lost speech. The other aspects are quite well preserved. And that's where again we need to look into it. It's there. That is one thing again we have come into seeing them. Another thing is so we need to basically look into the etiology. What is coming into it, and that's why we need to investigate the child thoroughly and look into it. Where and viral markers, when you were into Delhi, last when you came in end of November, we did so many children who had high viral marker of cytomegalovirus and Epstein-Barr virus, and since then I've been also doing those testing, and I've also found that a lot of these children have Epstein-Barr virus high titers and cytomegalovirus high titers, and despite other measles, mumps, rubella, other things, and when you work on them, gradually the things are the children are settling down into it. So we know viral markers is very important aspect. So that is some of the.
So we just have a few more minutes for our chai chat. Just a couple of quick questions. I think this is a good one. I'm not able to get probiotics from Anamika. I'm not able to get probiotics or digestive enzymes. Are there natural herbs as a substitute for these? And so I can handle that one. I think with the probiotics, we can use fermented foods.
Absolutely.
And there, you guys have so many great fermented foods, idli, dosa, and they're gluten-free on top of that. Even just a non-dairy yogurt you can make out of coconut milk. So that's a really good option to probiotics. And in terms of digestive enzymes, there's foods that are very rich in enzymes. Pineapple, papaya. So if you start your meal with a few bites of pineapple or papaya, that would then help you to digest the food and especially digest protein. So I think we're close to our end for our chai chat today, and I just want to thank you guys all for joining us in this excellent discourse, and thank you to my beautiful guest and friend, Dr. Deepak Gupta from Delhi, for sharing this important information for our families all across the globe and especially in India today.
And thank you, Dr. Usman. Thank you, Anju, for giving me this opportunity, and thank you very much. And it's always a great learning experience from you. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you, Manisha and the Akil Autism Foundation and True Health Naturals. And I just want to share my namastes with all of you. Thank you very much.
Keep safe, keep healthy.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.